What's good, peeps? How's everyone doing? Hopefully everyone is doing well. I was going to say something and I've completely forgot what I was going to say. I hate when that happens. I don't know if that's a sign of old age or a sign of other things being on my brain. Maybe a bit of both. That's it. I was at my friend's son's first birthday party yesterday. So a few of us got together. And this is how small the world is. So I walked in and some guy was like, oh my God, that's Ade from Boxing Talk with Ade, which is a bit weird when people still do that. But I was like, oh shit, hi, blah, blah, blah. We had a little conversation. I walked further in and I saw a guy sitting down and I recognized the face, but I didn't know who he was. But, you know, out of being polite, I still went up and said, hi, hello. And then a few minutes later, he came up to me and I was like, oh my God, that's fucking Kayode from Ade and Friends, part one, the guy that had the Matrix background. How random. I was like, and then we had a nice little chinwag about boxing, as you do, right? And he started to tell me about the LDBC, or was it the LBDC community, which I had no idea like what he was talking about. And apparently, there's a group of YouTubers that are very pro-Wilder and very anti-Anthony Joshua. Who are these people? I've no idea who these people are. I always find that strange when you're very pro someone and anti the other person. Can't you just like boxing? I mean, you're going to have your favorites, right? Like, no doubt, I'm an AJ fan, but I don't hate Wilder or dislike Fury. No. So I find it strange. Yeah, so that was that. The new Ade and Friends is up. Go and check it out. Had fun with those guys. So it was Rico, Pierre, and Barry. So go and check that out. Let me know what you think. Finally, before we find what to talk about, I have my first show, my own show with Sky Sports today. I say show, I'm filming it here. I'm filming it right there with the books as the background to make me look quite posh. It's going to be about football. So we're going to have Clinton Morrison on. I think we might have Emil Heskey on as well. And we're going to have the guys from the Beautiful Game podcast. So it's going to be a Zoom. So it's going to be 4 of us, I believe. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's happened so far. Arsenal, Liverpool, hopefully being one win away from the league title. What else we're going to talk about? United, Fernandez, Pogba. So guys, watch it, support, leave some nice comments, please, if you can. It'll be on Sky Sports YouTube page tomorrow morning. So please show me some support as you guys have done throughout the years. All right. What shall we talk about? I'm going to talk about a couple of subjects that I don't think are on here, but I saw them on Michael Benson's Twitter page. Should I go quickly now? I can't bother to go to his page. But the first one I saw was from Devin Haney. And Devin Haney said, big announcement coming, huge fight at lightweight against a top name or something along those lines. I'll put the tweet up. Who is it? Who is he fighting? Who do you think he's fighting? To me, there's only 1 or 2 names he's fighting. First one could be Jorge Linares. There was talks about Linares versus Ryan Garcia. Those talks have gone quiet. So it could be Linares, which would be a decent step up. I expect Devin Haney to win that one, but it's a decent step up nonetheless. What I would love it to be is Luke Campbell. That's the one I really want. Luke Campbell versus Devin Haney is a solid fight. I think Luke Campbell is being slept on a little bit. Everyone talks about, and maybe they talk about these guys because they're young, but we all talk about Teofimo, Gervonta, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, maybe because they're young, right? Young, American, all quite brash, outspoken. And you got someone like Luke Campbell's a lot older and has been beaten a couple of times, 3 times. So I think maybe that's the reason we don't put Luke in there. Luke is in that mix, right? I mean, it's not an easy night's work for any of the, like, for example, Luke versus Ryan Garcia tomorrow, Luke wins. Who's arguing with me? Luke will beat Ryan Garcia. So I hope that it's Luke versus Devin Haney. I think that Devin Haney needs a big name for his, if you like, first defense, I think, real defense of his WBC belt. Real defense. So I think that's a good matchup. But I'm interested to see who the name is. Who would you guys like it to be realistically? So there's no point saying Ryan Garcia or anyone like that. Realistically, who would you like it to be? I think Luke Campbell realistically makes sense. You can't say huge fight for me and that be Linares. Can't. That's not a huge fight, is it? I think Luke Campbell is a huge fight. I think that's a very big fight. So let's hope that that is the one. But we'll see. What else was I going to mention? Eddie Hearn said that if Billy Joe Saunders, and I mentioned this on the Addy and Friends, that if Billy Joe Saunders doesn't fight Canelo, he isn't fighting Canelo, he would want him to fight either Callum Smith, Demetrius Andrade, or Chris Eubank Jr. Which one do you like the most? If you could pick one, who are you going for? I have to be honest with you, I'm going straight Eubank Jr. I like it. I like Eubank Jr. fight, right? Ain't gonna happen. It's a lot of talk, but I like it. It's a pay-per-view fight over here. It is people, and we're going to talk about pay-per-view in a minute, by the way. But it's a pay-per-view fight over here. You know there's a lot of animosity between those two as well. They had that good, was it a good fight? They had that close fight many years ago, and we don't get to see rematches, and I want to see a rematch. I want to see that fight again. It's almost like George Groves, James DeGale. Like, for how many years did we think we're going to see that rematch? It never happened. I want to see Eubank Jr. versus Billy Joe Saunders. And financially, I think it's the biggest fight out of all of them as well. I really do. I think Andrade will be a boring fight. I think they'll just both play chess with each other and it'll be boring. Callum Smith will be a good fight, but I think Billy Joe will win that comfortably, you know. I'm still not high on Callum Smith, by the way. I don't know. I'm not super high on him at all. I think Billy Joe will win that. But from a standpoint of belts and legacy, I guess Callum Smith's the one, right? It's the Ring Magazine belt. Callum Smith's got the WBA as well. So you're saying that Billy Joe, if he were to fight Callum Smith and win, I mean, there's an argument that he is the #1 super middleweight in the world, and that's something. That's something. And then that makes the Canelo fight even bigger, right? It's huge. Because you're talking 2 belts and the Ring Magazine belt on the line against Canelo. That's big. So I would go Eubank Jr. first, just from a money standpoint and a standpoint of it will be a good fight, I think. Callum Smith second, and then Demetrius Andrade. All right, let's quickly talk pay-per-view before we have a look at what's trending on boxing scene. Let's have a quick swig of the amber nectar. Oh, it's not amber nectar, by the way. It's coffee, just in case everyone thinks I'm drinking amber nectar out of a cup. I've ordered my cups. I've ordered 2 cups, by the way, from my Teespring account. Check out the account, people. There's some good stuff on there. Hasn't come yet. Hasn't come yet. Like, that's been like 10 days. Hasn't arrived. My friend ordered a couple of T-shirts after me. He's got the T-shirts. Hasn't arrived. And I really want my cup. Anyway, pay-per-view. I saw Hatman done a video recently. Shout out to Hatman, the godfather of all of this. I think he's that good, by the way. I think me and Hatman have got to do a video soon. We got to get it done, right? But I think I saw a video of his where he said that the pay-per-view price for AJ Fury could go up to 50 quid. That's not going to happen. That's not the case. I think Eddie Hearn has refuted that as well, but he did say, though, that it could go up to 30 quid. Now, I watched that video and I read the comments. This was an IFL TV interview, and people were not happy. People weren't happy at all. Let's discuss this, people. 1 second. Are you very upset with 30 quid? It's another hike, isn't it? It was $19.95 for so long. It went up to $24.95 for AJ Ruiz and Wilder Fury. And now we're talking possibly 30 quid for AJ Fury, possibly. That's not set in stone yet. I don't want to compare it to American pay-per-view prices, but we've got to, right? We need to compare it to something to understand if it's taking the piss or if it's realistic or if it's somewhere in the middle. I don't know. Pay-per-view price in America, we know is crazy. The UFC, I think their pay-per-view cards are about $60, which is what, 45 quid or something like that, 45, 50 quid. And we know it can go crazy in America. It can go up to like $90, $100. It can go crazy. So compared to American pay-per-view prices, it's still not crazy. It's still not crazy at all, people. 30 quid isn't crazy. But that being said, it's a bit difficult to kind of swallow a hike then a hike. Again, it was $19.95. It's just literally gone to $24.95. Now we're talking $29.95. I mean, are we saying it's going to be $29.95 just for one fight? Or is Eddie saying that Sky going forward are going to put their pay-per-view price up to 30 quid? If you're telling me I have to pay 30 quid for AJ Fury, take my money. Take it. Where's my credit card? Take it right now. I'm not upset about that. I'm not. And people might say, oh, yeah, you're only saying it because Sky Sports. No, it's not. I'm not saying it because of Sky Sports. I'm saying I would pay 30 quid. I would. And I won't pay it because I will be there to watch that fight. But I will pay 30 quid to watch AJ Fury. If that was what it would take for that fight to get made tomorrow, take my money. You know what? Take 40 quid. Take 40. 50 is pushing it a bit. 50, you're taking a piss. Take 40 quid. Take it. Take it. I'm not going to complain. Again, for some of these big fights in America, you are paying big bucks. How much was Wilder Fury 2 pay-per-view price? I don't know. I'm trying to think what it was. Was it 80 quid? I can't remember. Let's have a look. Let's not guess. Let's just open up the laptop. 80 quid. Sorry, $80. What's $80 in pounds? 65 quid. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, again, it doesn't mean, oh, because the Americans charge for it, that means we could accept it over here. It doesn't mean that. But 65 quid. 65 for Wilder Fury. And I'm going to have a heart attack at 30 quid for AJ Fury. I'm not going to have a heart attack. I'm not going to have a heart attack. I mean, AJ Fury for me is a bigger fight. Wilder Fury, big fight. AJ Fury, woo. No? Okay. All right, suit yourself. All right, let's have a look. This is going to be a long video, isn't it? Bloody hell. Let's have a look and see if there are any decent stories to talk about. Bob Arum, Pacquiao needs a Crawford a blockbuster. GGG way too big. We've kind of talked about this story before. It's funny because remember what we talked about with, I think Frank Warren said that Dillian Whyte should be upset with Eddie for the WBC situation. It's got to get to the point where Terence Crawford has got to be upset with Bob Arum, right? I mean, we keep hearing about, oh, but it's those guys over there. Bob Arum's your promoter. Bob, get the fucking fights. Get the fights. Like, he's got to be upset with that. Like, why is it? It's not always about Sean, Errol. Speak to Bob. Bob, why are you not getting me the fights? I've signed with you. I'm with you. I'm loyal. Get me the fights. Bob can't get him the fights. Simple. Don't know where I'm going with that. Okay, this one. I saw this the other day. That Teofimo Lopez. Sorry, let me get it correct. Vasil Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez could happen in October or November. Have I read that correctly somewhere? Thank God, right? That's good. I'm happy. Is that going to be crowds or no crowds? Does it matter? Not really. I think there will be some crowds. I just feel like they might be sort of socially distant, so 2 meters apart from each other, right? I can't wait for that fight. Can't wait. I do give Teofimo Lopez no chance. I'm brutally honest with you. I think he's gonna get schooled. And everyone says, oh, he's got a big punch. Okay. It's almost like what Loma's not been in there with bigger punches throughout his whole amateur career. No one could punch, or even his pro career, no one could punch. You know, Nicholas Waters, the Axeman, was a huge puncher. Does everyone forget that? Huge, by the way, huge puncher. I don't know if he's as big a puncher. I'm guessing not because of a smaller weight class as Teofimo, but it was a huge puncher. It's not about that all the time. It's not about that. He is going to be playing chess with the Grandmaster. Is that the name for the highest chess level player? That's what Loma is. So yeah, I think he's going to get absolutely schooled. And there's not much experience there as well, right? So it's not just that I think Loma is so much better. It's that there's not much experience of Teofimo. Yeah. His biggest fight is obviously that Richard Comey one, which is big. Sometimes I wonder if he wishes that fight went a couple more rounds just to get that experience. He hasn't got the experience. How many fights has Teofimo had? I'm guessing it's about 13 or 14 fights. So look very quickly. Laptop's a bit slow. 15. Okay. That's actually more than Noma, isn't it? But you know what I mean. You know what I mean, people. All right, I'm all over the place with this. All right, let's get serious. Let's not deviate. Let's just read what's here. All right, just have a look at this. Hearn explains White WBC legal dispute, not wanting Fury to be franchised. Hearn has almost had to go a bit pro Dillian White in the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? Look, I always think he is pro Dillian White, but he's gone pro Dillian White in the last couple of weeks. Now coming out by saying things like Dillian White has to and will get the shot before AJ Fury happens. So he's pushing it now. I think he's heard some of the kickback with maybe him being pro AJ and not really pushing Dillian White. I think he is starting to push Dillian White. I think, and I've said this before, I just see it being a case of Fury going to franchise champion and Dillian White fighting for a world title against, maybe even given the belt, but I think he'll fight for it against, I would love him to fight against Andy Ruiz for the belt. Or even someone like a Michael Hunter, you know. Michael Hunter was close. I think if Michael Hunter beat Povetkin, then it would make 100% sense. 100% sense. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Hunter versus Dillian White for the belt. Yeah, it's a shame it's not the belt, but it still is a belt. And then, I don't know, you got the belt, then, you know, AJ fights Fury, somehow White fights the winner of that. I don't know. But he's definitely going to have a belt. Just which one, we don't know. All right, what's this one? Joseph Parker willing to face top opponent in planned full return. I almost feel like he's the forgotten man of the heavyweight division. Like, no one really speaks about Joseph Parker. Don't know. I mean, he has to face a top opponent. I just don't know who. The name that I made a video about a couple months back was Michael Hunter. I know we just spoke about him for Dillian White, but that's the perfect fight. It makes so much sense. Michael Hunter versus Joseph Parker, great fight. I would edge towards Joseph Parker in that fight, but that's a fight that makes sense. I mean, I know there was talk about Joseph Parker taking on, I don't know, some other guy in New Zealand or something that had a winning record but hadn't fought no one. I can't remember the guy's name. Joseph Parker needs a top 10 name to kind of catapult him back into the discussion. He's out of the discussion. And when you think of these matchups, you don't mention Joseph Parker. Like, for example, you say Andy Ruiz, you say Luis Ortiz, maybe because it's the PBC connection, I don't know. We got Chisora, Usyk, Dillian White, Povetkin. We got that Fury, AJ Wilder thing going on. No talk about Joseph Parker, who I think still a top 10 guy. He might be to the bottom side of it, sort of 9-10, but I think he's a top 10 guy. Obviously, AJ Pulev, no Joseph Parker mention. So he needs a big name. He needs to come back well. I think he will get I think he'll be in the mix again. He's not taken too much damage at all, really. The Dillian White fight was hard, but again, he was only a minute away from winning that fight. A minute away. Dillian White was on his last legs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Tyson Fury has received several offers to make movie on his life. Okay. Okay. It's a good movie. It's good. Boxing movies are always quite good, aren't they, to be honest? Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see who they get to play him, right? I mean, I remember Tyson Fury joked about and said that he wanted Denzel Washington to play him. He says, I know there's an issue with, what did he say? He didn't even mention that there was an issue of color. He said, I know Denzel Washington wouldn't be able to get my voice. Like, Tyson Fury is a crazy man. But yeah, that would be an interesting story, right? I mean, fucking hell, interesting story. Especially if you can incorporate his dad into it and his dad going to jail. I mean, him winning the belts. Obviously, we know the issues with the cocaine. There's a lot to unpack there. That would be a very interesting story. I'd like to see it. I think I just saw something about Crawford and Kell Brook. Okay, I like this. Terence Crawford says here that he thinks a travel ban will prevent a Brook fight from happening. Why not? Why not Terence Crawford, Kell Brook? Is anyone upset by that? I'm not upset by it. Neither have anywhere to go. Like, honestly, nowhere to go whatsoever. Kell Brook definitely has nowhere to go. Nowhere. To the point where we're not even talking about Kell Brook versus... I haven't, anyway, and I'm a big Kell Brook fan. I haven't spoken about Kell Brook versus... I wish I could fucking rewind Kell Brook's career, you know. Honestly, like Back to the Future. Oh, it just annoys the hell out of me. We're not going to get into it again, but it annoys me. But Kell Brook has nowhere to go. He's what, I think 34 now. Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford. I don't know if even Kell can make the 147 weight limit. He says he can. Terence Crawford. What, like, it's a good fight. It's a good fight for Kell. Not that it's a good fight that he wins, but it's a good fight that it's a bit of money, it's a big name, it's a world title fight, you know, it's the last kind of big shot. Why not? Just do it. And for Terence, who else are you going to fight? Who else are you going to fight? Terence's last 3 opponents have been that guy Kavialaskas, if I pronounced that correct, Amir Khan, and was it Benavides? Is that the guy's name that he fought? I mean, it's not exactly exciting, is it? Kell Brook might as well. Like, if you can't get anyone else, you might as well do Kell Brook. I don't know how that fight plays out, by the way. I can't picture it. I think Crawford is far too slick for Kell, but I think Kell is strong, can punch, great jab. It's going to be an interesting fight for a few rounds. I think Kell will cause Crawford problems. You know what? Crawford does get into scraps. I mean, you can hit Crawford. Kavialaskas put him down, and it was a knockdown. Benavides was causing him some problems until he eventually went up a few gears and got rid of him. So might as well, innit? Like, what else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do for both? Because all that talk about Kell going to 154 just ain't happening. Like, no. Like, Barry on Addy and Friends said he thinks Kell can beat Rosario. He can't beat Rosario. He can't. I'm sorry, he can't. I like Kell. I like Kell more than anyone. Trust me, he ain't beating Rosario. No. So yeah, I like that fight. It's better than the Liam Smith fight for Kell Brook. What you fighting Liam Smith for, right? What for? And even Liam Smith's a tough fight for Kell. So if you can make 147 and you can be healthy on the scales, fight Terence Crawford and just put up a good performance, please. Please. All right, do we have anything else to discuss? What's this? Barry McGuigan tabs Usyk, Boatsi, Stevenson, Shakur Stevenson. I guess you guys know that. Campbell. What Campbell? I'm guessing that must be Luke, right? Okoli as fighters to watch in 2020. We're already in 2020, Barry McGuigan. I'm guessing he probably meant 2021. Usyk. I'm not sure about Usyk, you know. Not sure about Usyk. I have to be honest with you. I think Usyk's the best out of that list, obviously. But he's getting on a bit. The injuries are starting to pick up a bit. Let's see what he does against Derek Chisora. I think he will beat Chisora, you know, but let's see what he gets on against someone that's just going to keep on coming. We'll see, man. Boatsi, sharks everywhere at light heavyweight. Sharks everywhere. Good luck navigating that. Shakur Stevenson, I guess it depends what weights he's going to stay at. Is he going to stick at 130? If so, then there are some monsters at 130. Bichelle is frightening at 130. So we'll see what he can do. He's good though, don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic boxer, Shakur Stevenson. Slick, southpaw, can hit a bit as well. Luke Campbell. If Luke Campbell gets the Devin Haney fight, I'm not sleeping on Luke to beat Devin Haney. I'm not. Luke's a fantastic boxer. And I think that performance against Loma raised his stock a bit. It's weird. It took Loma's stock down, but it shouldn't have done that. It should have raised up Luke's stock. Good performance, so we'll see. And Okoli. We'll see with Okoli. I've said that I don't think Okoli has an inside game, but he knows this. If he can add an inside game to what he's got on the outside, then good luck to any cruiserweight. I mean that. Any. I wonder what's going on with his Glowacki. Sorry, is it Glowacki? It's Glowacki, isn't it? Yeah, I wonder what's going on with his Glowacki fight. That was supposed to happen in March. I wonder if it's even going to happen now. Maybe, but I'm guessing late 2020. Do we have anything else to wear? Okay, I saw this one. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor is off, by the way, people. It's off. They were supposed to fight. When were they supposed to fight? My memory's fucked nowadays. They basically, it's been off twice. They were supposed to fight, I believe, they were supposed to fight in November in Manchester when Katie Taylor took on that Greek lady for her belt. I'm sure it was supposed to be Serrano, but they couldn't come to an agreement. And then obviously they were supposed to fight previously, but COVID. And now there was talks about them fighting in Eddie Hearn's back garden. I read this article, and what it did say is that they still wanted, basically Katie Taylor and Eddie Hearn still wanted the Serrano fight, but Serrano's manager said that they asked her to take a 40 or 50% cut in her pay to take the fight, obviously because of no fans, no ticket sales, etc. And I think they refused it. They said no. And the reason they said no is because they were asking her to take 50%. This is Serrano, but they're asking Katie Taylor. Let me read it, sorry, quickly. I think they were asking Katie Taylor to take 10% cut or something like that. Let's have a quick read of it. 2 secs. Okay, so he said his, I'll read it out. It said, now they're offering us the fight for August, but removing almost 50% of Amanda's purse. However, they are taking less from Taylor. We understand there is a situation around the world of COVID and there are changes in the boxing platform, but big fights are big fights. Many important fights are delayed until fans can come back to attend the event. If we accept this new offer, we'd be creating a new negative precedent in female boxing after so many women have worked so hard to heighten the level of the sport. That last sentence is bullshit, but 50% is a huge, huge cut, right? That's huge. It does make me wonder if, and I said this about Povetkin and Dillian Whyte, I hope you guys remember, I said, I wonder how much has been taken off their purses. Although it's still a pay-per-view fight, they must have had kind of a big amount chopped off their money as well. So we'll see what happens. That's a fight I wanted to see, but we shall see. All right, I think that is that. Yeah, I think that's that. There's a couple more Fury stories here, a couple of AJ stories, a couple of Wilder stories, a couple of Dillian Whyte stories. We're not going to talk about that. We talk about that shit too much. I think I just saw something about Inoue. Where was that? Inoue expected to fight in September or October. Casemiro is still an option. Okay, let's see what happens with that one. All right, guys, we are out of here.